first time. This is my second time doing this. And so thank you, Tina, for joining me. Well, my topic is, why would God not want you healed? Ask yourself that. You being faced with an impossibility, something you just haven't been able to do. Why would God want to keep you in that situation? Why would God want to keep you in that pain? Why would God want you to carry excess burdens? If you're sick, why would God want you to be sick? Well, if it be God's will, then I know I'll be made well. Well, today I'm telling you, it is God's will. He doesn't want anyone suffering and to be sick. So you need to ask yourself, why would God want me to be carrying this? Because believe it or not, there's a lot of times, whether it's your religion or whether it's your faith or background, whatever it is, we be thinking God wants us to carry these things, and they're nothing like Him. Okay? Another question is, why would God not want to answer my prayer? Because sometimes we think, well, God will answer the prayer for somebody else, but not for me. So you need to ask yourself, why would God not want me healed? Or why would God want me to still keep carrying these weights and these burdens that I have? And why would not God answer it for me? Why would God not answer my prayer? Because sometimes it's easier, you ever found that out too? Sometimes it's easier to pray for someone else that you know that's sick and they got a terminal illness, and you could really pray in faith and believe for them. Or someone needs help financially, or someone needs help in relationships or on the job or getting a job. And you can got all kind of faith for them. But then when it comes to you, it's like, well, so be it. I'll make it through here in time to be God's will. Well, I can stand here and boldly believe for your miracle today, because I haven't found God say anything else different. I don't remember reading anywhere in the New Testament where Jesus said, stay sick, don't be healed, don't be well. So it's not the will of God, because Jesus said He did what the Father did. And then I seen Peter, the Apostle Peter and Paul, they prayed for people to be healed. And then Jesus went further and He said, the same works that you see me do, you shall do them also. In 2018, we can do the same works by faith, believing in God for the impossibilities in the midst of all types of illnesses and diseases. Because Jesus, it's written too, He went around healing all sickness and diseases. So in 2018, I can, you can do the same works that Jesus did. Well, another thing, I know it's easy, and I've been on Facebook for a few years now, and there are times when I've had, a few hundred friends, and sometimes I would just pray, God, everyone that's following me, everyone that's on my friend, that number up there, I just pray for them and bless them today. Well, on Miracle Sunday, I can't do that. God said, only pray a miracle prayer for those who ask for it. Those who ask for it. Like this morning, I did put up, I would be online live at 10 o'clock, so I'm a little bit late. But Mr. Brown, he from early this morning, because he lives in eastern part of our country, and he said to pray for him to walk in the blessings of Abraham and under an open heaven. See, now I have a request. This is a step of faith that Mr. Brown presented to me, so I can pray for Mr. Brown. Now I'm reading some verses here, and let's see where we're at. Mark 5, beginning at verse 25, of a lady with the issue of blood. And you're going to see that her situation got worse and not better. So beginning here at verse 25, it says, and a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. How long have you been hurting? How long have you been in pain, whether it's sickness or in troublesome circumstances? Well, this lady had suffered a great deal, and she had been to many, many doctors where she didn't have no more money. See, now it's impossible for her to be healed. She took a step of faith and went to the doctors, but they couldn't help her. They could not help her. So she's at an end. But she heard about Jesus. So she went, when she heard about Jesus, she came up behind this crowd and touched his cloak. And because she thought to herself before she arrived there, or as she was going in the process, if I could just touch his clothes, I know I will be healed. Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was free from that suffering. She was free from that suffering. At once, Jesus realized that power had gone out of him. He turned around in the crowd and asked, somebody touched me. Who is this that can touch me? And the disciples said, it's in a tight squeeze. There's lots of people here. And you're going to ask, who touched you? Jesus? Jesus said, nope, somebody touched me. But Jesus kept looking around, it says here in verse 32, to see who had done this. Then the woman, she's, I've been caught now. Let me confess up. And so she went to Jesus and she fell at his feet and she told him the whole truth. She told him her testimony. I'm sure she told him how she had been suffering for those 12 years. She had no more money to pay, no more doctor. But I heard about you. I heard about Jesus, the healer, going around from town to town and healing all that was sick. And I said to myself, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, if I could just touch his clothes, I know I would be made whole. And that's exactly what happened. She told Jesus the whole truth. And Jesus said to her, daughter, your faith has healed you. See, what was her faith? She had to step out and do something. She had to step. Just think if she had just stayed in the back of that crowd and watched everybody else be healed and said, well, that was good. So now I'm just going to go back home and I'll put up with this maybe for another 10 or 12 years. And Jesus said, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering. See, that's why I can say, I don't know, we've had deaths in our own family. My mother died when I was 20. And I could say, well, yeah, it was God's will for these people to die, your loved ones and your best friends to die. I could say that because it happened, but that's not the will of God. Because remember, Jesus said here, be relieved from your suffering. I have a little picture here. God gave me this maybe about 10 or 12 years ago because I was praying for people and they were being healed. And it's like God was going to, you're not going to get a big head thinking you can go around healing people and getting credit for it. One way to do that is to see healing like a pie. And so here, I don't know if that's going to come out with you on this camera, but it was like a pie shell. And you know how you have, just say you have 8 parts in there. Healing is that way. Being delivered out of your circumstances and getting from hardship to victory to pain to peace, love, and joy, which I love to teach. Sometimes it takes many parts. And so with this particular person I prayed for and the person was healed, God said, what about his mother who had been praying? What about the friends who had been praying? What about the pastors who had been praying? What about, hi there, Khalif. Hi there. Good to see you. Haven't talked to you in a long time. Welcome. So there's other people that are involved in our lives who can be praying in faith too. So you'll rarely hear me say, this particular person, I prayed for that person, they were healed. Well, I know I'm with some other people. Grandmas have been praying for people. Mothers have been praying. Uncles have been praying. Brothers and sisters have been praying. And then all of a sudden, I come along, let's see here, with a missing part. You see that? I come along with a missing part. That's the way the lady with the issue of blood was. She had tried many things. She had been to many doctors. Was she not to go to the, oh yes, she was supposed to go to those doctors. Because along the way, there was going to be another part to her healing. And that healing was called Jesus. So when I'm here on Sunday mornings, I'm just another part. God has anointed me in certain areas. And sometimes, because I've been through so much pain and suffering my own self, I have such compassion to pray for people and see them healed. So there's other people that you'll come across. Sometimes when you're believing God for your healing, not settling, but believing for healing, God will change doctors. Yeah. And that's one of those pie. That's one of those slices of pie. Sometimes God will send you to a health store. He'll send you to grandma's house. When my 3 kids were little, that when I lived around my grandmother, and when one of them was sick, my first line was, I am going to see Big Mama. Big Mama can help us see if it's something she cannot handle with some of her home remedies. Then she'll say, well, go ahead and take him to the hospital, take him to the doctor. But see, my grandma was one of those pie slices. So, whatever you have need of, you need to be open. There's so much information about healing our bodies, building our own personhood and who we are. So much deliverance and avenues. Be delivered from drugs and alcohol and bad habits. I even have a book. It's called Eliminating Addictions and Bad Habits. You expect to see a change in 6 weeks. So there's so much knowledge. And what does the Bible say? My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So when you pray and you're believing God for whatever that supernatural intervention must be, people, keep your eyes and your ears open, because God will lead you to the truth. And I'm only one of those pie shells. I'm only one of those pie slices for that healing, for that miracle. I've seen Jesus. Peter came to him and needed taxes to be paid. Peter didn't have no money. So we went to his rock, and he told Jesus, our taxes need to be paid. Go fishing. You catch the first fish, and in the fish's mouth there will be money. So lets me know that I can pray for money for people. Yes, for money. Because we need it. Here in America, we need it. And so it's a means to getting our needs and stuff met. So God is very concerned about our finances and our money. And I wanted to tell you too, on Facebook, I'll be putting the link up once this video gets posted. Throughout the week, I have a special group that I minister to, and it's called God's Love and Power Elite Group. And so I'll have that up there, and you can go and join that. And those are people's, not this news feed, but I give them extra special teachings and inspiration and encouragement. And on the first week of the month, they get a full teaching, but it's only in that elite group. So welcome to check that out today too. All right. Anyone else? Tina, Khalif. I'm going to be praying, and as I said, it's not a generic prayer. It's not for all of Facebook, which I've prayed before. It's for these special people that takes a step of faith, like the lady with the issue of blood. It was a step of faith for her to maneuver her way through the crowd and finally touch the hem of Jesus' garment. But I'm going to pray for Mr.